Today we're going to answer the question, can you use bulky yarn successfully in the Sentro knitting machine? We're going to use 4 different yarns. The first is this yarn that came with the Sentro machine. Now I'm not convinced that that is a size 5. It might be a really thick 4 or it might be a really thin 5. I can't really say for sure. Also, I have this size 4 Mainstays yarn. Mainstays is a Walmart brand, and it's kind of a thinner size 4 yarn. And so I'm going to try doubling up the Mainstays. I'm going to use 2 strands as a bulky yarn and see if that works. And then let me show you kind of what the thickness will look like when you put the 2 strands together. Now, of course, when I crochet, I double up yarn like this all the time or even triple it. But we'll have to see if this can pass for bulky in the knitting machine. The third yarn I'm going to try, that is a bulky size, is this Premier Puzzle yarn. And I really like the color of this. This actually matches the colors, some of the colors in my studio. Maybe I will make something with this to put in my studio. But let me show you how thick this is. It's a size 5. And let's see, compared to this sample yarn, yeah, I'm not feeling very confident that that sample yarn is a 5, but we're going to give it a go anyway. But that's what the Premier Puzzle looks like. And then I have a second Premier yarn. This one's called Serenity. Also, this is a chunky, actually. And I'm gonna, well, actually they're calling, it says chunky on the front of the label, but then that says size 5 bulky. And the Premier Puzzle also said size 5 bulky. So let me show you the difference though between these 2 yarns. Maybe they should have actually labeled it as a chunky, because look at the difference. See, that's quite a bit thicker than the puzzle yarn. So, but that's very peculiar. It said chunky in one place, but then it actually says size 5 bulky. And this is all of the strands just kind of laid out next to each other. I want you to get a better idea of what we're going to be working with. So we're starting with this sample yarn. First, I'm going to put each of these yarns through the machine. We're going to knit with it a little bit, and then I'll pull everything off the machine and we'll look at all of the stitching in more detail. Next up, I'm using the 2 strands of size 4 yarn together. As you can see, I've run into a problem here. See, one of the strands has gotten disconnected from the machine. See closer up, that stitch has dropped, both strands. This also dropped both strands. And this happened. So not great. Plus I'm having a lot of trouble with this yarn. Like it was really struggling in my machine. So I didn't do too much of a sample with this because I didn't want to damage my machine at all. Next up is the Premier Puzzle yarn, and I hope this one works because this is pretty. Of course, everything always goes smoothly when I'm just first starting out, but once we actually start running the machine, let's see what happens. I made it through several rows without any problems, but as you can see here, my machine is stuck. It wouldn't go any further, and so now I'm trying to get to the bottom of why the machine froze up right here. And after examining a bit, I figured it out. It's this stitch right here. The yarn didn't quite clear the needle. And let me show you closer up. See that? Some of the yarn caught underneath the needle and some of it did not. Can you see right here? See, that's not... What is it like 8 strands it's supposed to be? That's not all the strands. So that is why when I tried to turn the machine, it got caught up right here. So besides a bit of tuck stitches, that's pretty much the only issue that I've had so far. Here we go again. As you can see, the exact same thing happened again. The yarn split, and so it didn't really go all the way. I didn't clear the needle like it was supposed to. Next up is the yarn that says both chunky and bulky on the label. As you can see, it was too thick to put in the lowest tension on the machine. So I'm going to attempt to use my hand to control the tension, which, by the way, is something I never do. And I don't like to do because I like for the machine to do its job and control the tension for me. But I did try it and it wasn't working. So now here I am just knitting without controlling the tension. And now I'm removing the yarn. And as you can see, just like with the other Premier, I am having quite a bit of trouble getting that off. Let's take a look at how everything turned out. This is that size, I think it's a very thick size 4 or a very thin size 5, that sample yarn. And this actually turned out beautifully. There is not a single drop stitch, not even one. And as you can see, every stitch is even and very pretty. And there are no drop stitches. I would definitely use this, a yarn of this thickness. I would use in the Sentro pretty much any time because as you can see, it turns out very well. This was a disaster. I would not recommend trying to hold 2 size 4 yarns together and use that as a bulky weight. My machine was struggling. I mean, I thought I was going to break a needle, and that is not a good thing. And then also one of the strands dropped off, as you saw. So this one is a definite, yeah, that's a no on this one. Next up is the Premier Puzzle. I believe this is the puzzle. This one I tried slowing down the footage to show you. It's kind of hard to see, but there is actually many, many, many tuck stitches. I don't know, it's hard to see there. I think that was where I think I did that when I was trying to fix that first stitch. But look here, there's a tuck stitch here. Here's another tuck stitch. Yeah, so as you can see, I'm just pulling up like tuck stitch, showing tuck stitch after tuck stitch. So tuck stitches do not make for pretty stitches. As you can see on the other side, this looks really bad. And that is unfortunate. I was really rooting for this yarn to work. But you can crochet or knit with it and maybe even use it in another machine. But this Sentro, it didn't work. And here's that chunky / bulky. And yeah, this, again, same problem again. I actually wound up redoing this swatch. That's why you see a bit of waste yarn at the top of it. I did it a second time, holding the tension with my hand the entire time, thinking maybe I'd get a better result. But ultimately, I did not. As you can see, there's just too many tuck stitches in order for this piece to look good. Yeah, see right there. That's a shame. I suspected if I was using a different machine, like an Addy machine, I don't think that would happen. Here is my final review. With the exception of that very thin yarn, none of the bulkies worked in the Sentro. But please, in the comments, let me know what type of success you've had using bulky yarns in your machine.